Press cross button.
All right, we could use your abilities now. It's been hacked. Get a search going.
Right, fun's over. You're coming with us.
Failure to comply with this directive.
Let's turn around. All units, I say again, all units, we have reports of a hostile in your area. Over. Control, we've received the call. Over.
It's not all bad, I suppose.
Negative. No vision of the suspect.
I've lost sight of the target. Over.
Welcome back to The Upload. Today we're talking about cryptocurrency.
Crypto now seems like it's been around forever,
Right.
but it's
I'm putting a
really
stop
quite
to
a
this.
new invention.
Units
Were
fall
you an
back.
early adopter?
Over.
I was one of the first that was in this market. There seemed to be a new way of financial transactions, a new way of money. It's something that we could completely reinvent and change some of the legacy financial systems around the world and really give power back to the people.
Yeah, there's a real shift in the way that the world works. But let's recap the basics. So, central to cryptocurrency is the distributed ledger technology, the tech that keeps track of all transactions. And what this means is you can have a decentralized system without having to trust any one party, like old-fashioned banks.
One of the reasons why I got involved so early was that you could stay anonymous.
Yeah, the features of cryptocurrency very much fit into that early mindset. It was all about finding an alternative to centralized systems. It was kind of a countercultural punk ethos. The whole point of the distributed ledger is you're not trusting any one person to keep track of who has what money or how they're spending it.
But not everybody now wants the perfect crypto legacy. They don't care they have to be central institutions, businesses, even government experiments in the crypto with its original radical outcome.
Something over there. This is resisting arrest.
Looking good. Ow, you fucking hurt.
Something. What was it? Quadrant clear. Moving to assist. Receiving patrol. I'm hit! Ah!
Oh, I'm streaming. No more overpriced cinemas. Stop burn.
Converted to crypto, and it really shook up the financial sector.
Can you remember when they first introduced crypto cash points?
That was really sneaky. It was a classic startup behaviour. They just installed them everywhere. No consultation with the government, no approval or anything. But people immediately started to use them.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of how Bloom put out the Optic. They just made it free and flooded the streets with these devices. Suddenly everyone had them.
If there's this great option of tech, people are just going to start using it, no matter the cost.
Parliament actually tried to put a stop to the cash points, but people were using them so much already. There was outrage. I mean, some parts of London were already using crypto as their primary currency by then.
And now, apparently, or at least in theory, crypto is illegal.
Yeah, in May this year, economists found that crypto was being traded more than the pound, and banks were... happy. They basically forced the government to ban cryptocurrency in a last-ditch effort to save the pound.
But it's not like that's worked. People are still using crypto, and it's been underground. Things
Once used to
All
work fine with
units.
crypto, and it was
Possible
just a
suspect or
peer-to-peer sharing
suspects
economy style
reported near your
system.
location.
Now it's all on the dark web and
Understood,
wrapped up
Control.
again in
Awaiting
organised
further
crime.
instruction.
Yeah, if you want to
Over.
make something thrive on the black market, just make it illegal.
Hello, resistors. It's bug time. Are you all set to
Some assistance. Over.
I'm Andy, and joining me to analyse the latest blow. And today, we're going to talk to you about
Anyone have visual?
Albion.
Anyone?
Your friends of mine, Alice. The government's extended Albion's contract. Plummeted to a record low. Now, extending Albion's contract, to me, that's like having a pet dog.
We are in pursuit. I say
That
again,
attacks you
in
every single
pursuit.
day, and thinking to yourself, wouldn't it be nice if Nigel had puppies?
That contract has been extended so many times, it's like the neck of a politician that's criticised the government.
I'm not sure we probably have a contract extension negotiation. Tapped up by Barcelona. The government panicked.
Any available units, please
But
respond.
still, violent crime, a record low. Although I imagine that probably depends exactly how you count it. If you include violent
Suspect
crime
is
committed by
unsighted.
the state,
Unsighted,
either
sweeping
himself or
area. Control, we are pursuing the target.
Well, it's probably not quite as low.
If there is, we
I
just
think
said
you're
vehicle.
probably right. Who has the opportunity to commit violent crime these days anyway? The moment you pick up a fruit knife, you get tasered by a local policeman and reported for involvement. It's a much more peaceful society. It's just much less of a society.
I want to know the details of the contracts. Alice, I mean, are they paid? Duffed up? Is it a set rate for each extrajudicial state mugging? What is that rate? What do you think?
Well, it certainly looks like they're trying to hit a quota of some kind.
What is the set rate? Is it 99.95
Now,
crypto
straight ahead.
Seems very reasonable indeed. I imagine they don't ask too much anyway. Alvin, because it's just so nice to get paid for doing your hobby anyway, isn't it? Imagine it doesn't even feel like work.
I mean, who needs violent crime anymore anyway? You know, you can just starve to death without even starting a gang war.
We do have to ask exactly what's the Prime Minister making of this. Let's ask him. Hello, welcome to number 10 Downing Street. Hello, is the Prime Minister there, please? Let me just check. Sorry, you've missed him. He's popped out for the decade. Oh, never mind. Is there anyone else I can talk to? Yes, of course. There's a shady cabal that's been interested in controlling and prop him up in power. Great, I'll have a chat with them.
Oh, and you remember when you could get away with prank calls without people coming round to your house to beat the shit out of you?
For your safety and security, CCTV is in use in this location.
Oh, happy times.
You're listening to The Bar.
Did you think the Prime Minister will ever come back?
I don't think we've ever had a Prime Minister.
Well, that's a much more reassuring way of looking at things. What have we got?
All units. I repeat, all units. We have reports of a hostile in your area. Over. Received.
And let me tell you, that
Stand by
never
for
works
further
out like it does in the
developments.
stories. Wolves are bad parents, unless you're a wolf, in which case they can do a job bringing you up as a wolf. Do not give your children
Where
to wolves.
did they go?
And do we actually own anything as a country now? Is there anything we haven't flogged off for profit? Oh, I think we've basically just become a homeopathic Britain. Diluted and diluted until there's barely a trace of the original Britain left. But some quackish lunatics insist it
Control,
actually
we're
works
returning
better
to
that
HQ,
way. It's
over.
total bullshit. Is there anything left? New on the bug this week, a new feature. The Bug Off feature. The person who has most irritated us in Britain this week, we're going to tell to bug off. And to get things going, I'm going to nominate Big Nigel. Nigel Cass. Look, this is Britain. History tells us this place is a bastion of freedom. I'm just not sure that that kind of freedom should involve Big Nigel expressing his freedom to run a private army. I guess. That was a trade
Urgent call. Possible hostile at your
which is
location.
a lot for a company. The Bug PLC has...
Received. Let's keep this by the book. Over.
compared with Albion, the East India Company didn't operate its 250,000-strong army in London. It did it a long way away, out of sight, out of mind.
Any sign of the target?
For the bug off?
Anyone?
Alex?
I think today's bug off for me goes to my streaming service. I'm sick of being recommended things based on things I already like. The other day it recommended me to watch a reality TV competitive dating show set in a new
All
venue.
units,
And
disengage.
I watched it
Suspect
and I
has
liked it.
disappeared.
And I do not want to be the kind of person who enjoys new competitive reality television.
Suspect reported in your area. Armed and hostile.
That's it from the bug. Don't forget.
Watch the suspect.
It is so secret.
Target's crashed his vehicle.
Not complying. Over.
Britain has a long heritage in world-leading innovation. From the steam engine to the Spitfire, it is the spirit and ingenuity of our people that has made us strong. That is why at Albion, we believe in delivering the next generation of personalized security to all of our citizens.
No visual of target.
For when it comes to the future, it's your safety that's our security.
The bug, nibbling away on the rotting carcass of a once free Britain.
Yum yum.
Hello, Resistance fans. You're listening to the Bug Podcast, the objective voice of objection for this most objectionable world. I am Andy, not my real name, so good luck finding me, Monsieur Bloom. My real name is, in fact, Andrew, and I live in, note this down, a deluded pseudo-reality on my own land. In fact, the most densely populated place on these days, overcrowded, some might say. Joining me, as always, my next-door neighbour in these Netherlands of nonsense. It's Alice.
Yes, indeed, it is Alice. Alice, who the bleep is Alice? I am not going to tell you that.
We'll find out where we're getting today's news from. Here, it's coming from here. I must get a new wheel with at least one of them.
All units, possible suspect or suspects reported near your location. Received, mobilising now.
4,000 illegals were reported. People breaking the law just by existing, and of course illegality is contagious. It can osmose through your skin just by standing next to
Where did they go?
a person. So we've got rid of 4,000 of them. My question for you is, why is it 4,000? Is that really enough? I will not feel so until at least another 75 million people have been deported from this country.
Search units disengaged.
On my
This search is pointless.
As a bleeding heart lefty, Andy, I would normally be outraged about this, but really, I think mass deportation is a very handy way to break up with the culture. I'm sorry, baby, I love you, but this is
Control.
not the sort of
Hostile near your location.
Unless you can prove that your family are in the background of the sale. Unless you can show untainted by anything since before the Romans, unless your direct ancestor was personally responsible for building Stonehenge, get out of my country.
Still pursuing target. Over.
End of the world. To make the place you want to stop
The bollards are
as
up.
pleasant as possible. So,
Well, we absolutely are doing that, Andy.
extend the White Cliffs of Dover. They've been resting their laurels for too long. Very inefficient, it turns out. And there's a stop immigration. And they could extend them right out another 11,000 miles, a full round around Great Britain. And they could do with being here's a quick joke for you, Alice. Did you hear the one about the woman?
Negative. No sign of the target yet.
And was ever seen again?
No, Andy, I didn't hear that one.
Boom. Set up the punchline. For those of you unfamiliar with the immigration process in Central, of course, where so many of our guests to Britain go for a longer than desirable game of involuntary hide and seek. You are listening to The Bug.
I repeat, we are in pursuit.
I think immigration is right up there, Alice. When you think of all the health professionals we've studied from overseas,
Can anyone see the
years
suspect?
here in Britain, it's quite possible that all these people are just coming here to try to get an appointment with their local doctor.
Yes, Andy, certainly as someone who came from the expanded arm of the empire when Britain was still reaching out rather than folding
Control,
in on
put
itself.
out an
Most of us
APW.
just come here to
Target
visit our
is
stuff
gone.
in museums.
British way.
Speaking of international movement, Britain has recalled all European ambassadors after the
hostile at your location.
How much worse can
Received.
if they're not there?
Moving to intercept.
I mean, by definition, they were terrible spies. The point of spies is that
I need available officers to go on standby.
Ramming the suspect.
those German spies in that SIRS crackdown. And I think that's a sad thing. I think I used to think of Germans as quite scary, but that was because I'd been watching World War II movies. They speak in that very nice, precise way. It's very, they have names of making you talk. That American accent, but it's all like, welcome to the party, we're having a really nice time. Much friendlier Germans. Let them stay.
Well, that's all today, Bugsters. Remember, it's not as bad as it seems. Honestly. I hope. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Control, we're heading back. Over.
We live in modern times. Drones, robots, computer control, they all have their place. But so do people. And that place is us. Because when you need help, you need the human touch. Not robots, not soldiers, just people like you. The Metropolitan Police. People protecting people.
This is London Crew. You're listening to Buckingham, your source for what they don't do. Need touch. It's hard to believe that there can be shortages of food and medicine in an advanced country like ours. And yet, those old government promises of food turned out to be just enough. Today we're short of basic foodstuffs and vital medical supplies. Hundreds have already died of conditions that can
Possible hostiles near your location.
Moving inbound to hostile.
How do we go from consumer
We have a civilian who needs medical attention. Over.
What turns a land of plenty into the wild west of food battles and black market barons? We protect everyone who comes on the podcast by keeping their identities a secret. Here's veteran political reporter Ian on the power behind
Negative.
shortages.
No sign of suspect. Over.
Yeah, I mean, what was the first thing that happened when Britain sealed itself off? First, stuff was stopped from coming in.
Search has yielded no results. Report back to HQ.
Now, radioactive isotopes, that's what we use for cancer screening, cancer treatment. Now, that stuff, it has a short half-life. Technetium used to save hundreds of thousands of lives just by screening for cancer, let alone testing for cancer. But that stuff has a half-life of 66 hours. As soon as those walls went up, there was just no time to bring it into the country, and that is when people started dying. And then the medicines. The thing is, there's loads of medicines that you just can't stockpile. There was a moment before it took place when actually there was some effort to try and stockpile some of the medicines. There was some things that could be done. For a lot of it, there was simply nothing that could be done. We had a major problem with drugs for schizophrenia. So we saw such an uptick in the kind of attachment to and people suffering on their own because they didn't have the mental health care. People don't want to go through that stuff. They were desperate for the things that they had before, and they were scared. So they went to the black market. The same thing that always happens. And where did the growth of Plan Kelly come from? It came from people wanting things that they could previously get legitimately and can now only get through the black market, funneling funds towards criminality. And from there, we got to the situation we have now of this basically war between criminals and security that seems to dominate what's going on out there on the streets.
Nothing shakes people's faith in capitalism quite as much as when capitalism fails to deliver. Here's underground writer and analyst Alfie, the politics of property.
I think what we've come to now is a realisation that capitalism's essentially failed. The one key promise of capitalism that it makes to its citizens is that there will be surplus, that we will have plenty, and that's the whole logic for running society in this way, that people will have enough. And now, with these kind of huge shortages of everything, you're seeing that system collapse. It hasn't delivered on its primary promise. And I think we've really reached a situation where we have to do away with capitalism entirely. We're seeing a situation where there's shortages for the many, but for a few individuals, there's an elite who are not struggling, short of anything. So this is kind of fundamental inequality of a capitalist system, which is no longer producing the goods for most of us. Shortages are being used as well. I'm not saying that there isn't a real shortage. There possibly is real shortages, but shortages are being used as an excuse.
Suspect reported in your area, potentially armed and hostile.
Maintaining a kind of power of the 1%.
So if you're starving hungry tonight, if your parents can't get their medicine, and your brother
can't see the suspect, please advise.
No sign of the target. Over.
You've been listening to Buckingham. Keep spreading the word and keep sharing the podcast. There's enough of everything out there for all of us. We just need the guts to take it back.
Terminating the search. Control. Put out an APW.
When a startup advertised passive income to anyone willing to enlist their autonomous vehicle in their networked taxi service, many people jumped at the opportunity. The hidden catch? Their cars were being used to ferry drug shipments. Join us at GBB for the full story.
Coming up today on The Upload, we're talking about Sky Larson, the enigmatic founder of Broker Tech. Everyone knows her name, but no one knows too much about her. We only really see her these days as a hologram. She was pretty young when she launched Broker Tech, the company that is best known for introducing Badly to the world. Nowadays, it's hard to remember a world before Badly.
Badly is the most advanced, significant AI of our time, and it's really blown all the other...
We're being contacted by our potential recruit. Patching them through now.
Just say how I can repay you.
Just join us, will ya? We need people like you. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm ready to make a difference.
I followed her for a long time, and she's always been a pretty private person. I know that she totally grew up in the countryside, but there isn't other than this text that she put out into the world.
I've always found it a bit spooky that she's so obsessed with the idea of humanism.
Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you take what you've got and improving your physical self, changing your body and the world around you, implementing more technology to extend your life and really sort of extend human capabilities.
You sound pretty much in love with Sky Larson, I have to say.
I can't comment on that, but I am a big fan of her work. She's been one of these people that has transformed the world around us, and just watching how her mind works from afar is pretty incredible, because some of what the technology she's introduced has changed how we all live our lives, and Bagley has been this really incredible assistance to humanity as a whole. Did I ever tell you that I actually interviewed Sky Larson once?
Really? I thought she never spoke to the media or anything.
So this was a long time ago, back in the day when she was a little bit more accessible, and she was one of the people that was inspired by her own being, and she was just incredibly talented and knowledgeable, and one of possibly the best living people.
I'm not not sure you're being too objective there. I mean, I imagine she's not very likable as a person.
She obviously despises humanity in some ways. I think she believes that becoming data is preferable to being human. She's one of these people who's extremely methodical in everything that she does, and she does everything to perfection and really tries to change the world around her and make it a better place for us to live in.
If you say so.
GBB drones, in the air and on location.
You can see the tailbacks here.
Because when you want the news,
the drones were able to follow the gunman.
Our drones have the news.
Viewers may find some of these images disturbing.
GBB drones, in the air and on the air, 24 hours a day. GBB, know the news.
You're listening to The Bug.
Vomiting and headaches. Hello Britain, this is The Bug, the show that holds up a mirror to the world and smashes itself on the head with it in despair. I'm Andy, joining me, as always, Alice, and...
I deny everything.
It's just a good state of existence. Some good news, at last. There are no medicine shortages, according to the government, none at all. There have been various allegations about that. It turns out they are all fake news. There are none. There are no shortages of medicine. Don't take it from me. I'm not a medical supply expert. Take it from my beloved government. It's fine. In fact, I'm going to read between the lines here. Actually, so there's probably too much medicine, if anything. Just medicines. You can't move for medicine. In fact, just this morning, I dumped some cornflakes into a bowl of bread and out-tumbled a 12-month course of immunosuppression.
Control, this driver is causing...
Possible suspect or suspect.
I for one believe that there are no medical shortages, Andy. Just last week I went in with a broken arm and
This is taking longer than expected.
Over. An astrology chart. My uncle had a leg removed due to diabetes. They halved his insulin because they said
Control,
there was
I've lost the target.
Diabetic.
So, anyway, people don't believe what you read or hear about there not being enough medical drugs to go around. It's not true. It's hospital it's medical mendacity, it's nonsensical, narcotic, nincompoop, nothing like that. Do not believe the new telling you that we've run out of medicine. Nor should you believe the empty shelves at the chemists. They're also lying. Do not believe your doctor saying, sorry, we're fresh out of the eat a carrot, pretend. Do not believe your own cobweb-ridden medicine cabinet at home. It might look empty, but it's not. For it contains the only medicine any of us truly need. The medicine of British freedom and the analgesic knowledge that however ill you may be, Bloom are keeping an eye on things for you.
I'm investing heavily in the placebo.
Suspect reported in your area. Approaching with caution, over.
What is it? Tungsten coated, granite scented, cosmically immutable, scientific.
Any sign of the target? Anyone?
Do we actually need medicine?
I just don't think we should think of it in such a negative way. Don't think of it as a medicine diet, Andy. Think of it as a series of healthy lifestyle swaps. Swap out anti-inflammatories for antacids.
Control, we have a visual on the suspect.
Swap out MRI machines for Mary machines, which is just a lady called Mary telling you you're fine.
Obviously, critical shortages are as much part of our daily lives, our society and our culture today as things like football, music and complaining about the weather used to be in the old days. Well, food shortages, yeah, we just learned to live with them, don't we? And there's a lot of positives as well with all these food shortages. I mean, we were eating too much.
Take the vehicle out,
now! To live healthier lifestyles. It's so hard to diet on your own, isn't it? You need the support of a friend, or a loved one, or a government, or collapsing social infrastructure. Positive too, meat, very bad for the environment. So we're actually rebuilding the polar ice caps every time we eat a scrap of lettuce.
Control.
Three, positive 3. The human race had already cooked all the recipes that needed. There was nothing more to be done with food. We've done it. Tick it off. We've done it. I was brought food and eating all my life. 3 times a day, 4, sometimes 7, or even 8 times a day. You're bound to get bored. And also, final
advised, we are on the trail.
Which is great news. It's in the big local source, British industrial sulfur, public health reasons over curious ways. Alice, I think was in case the public is too healthy to have drugs in mind. Spud, nettles, rabbit. That's all we need. That's all we need in the glory days.
Who needs Italian olives when you can eat pickled rubber bands and a soup of regret? Who needs a nice cheese when you can eat a lukewarm, unspecified rat meat pie with 0 spices?
Sand, nettles, and bits of dead fox. That's all we needed to eat in the glory days. Let's make Britain great again.
Target
That's
is long
all
gone.
from the bug today. Good night.
Disengage.
Sleep tight.
Over and
make sure
out.
the bed bugs do bite.
This is London Calling. You're listening to New Town. Your source for what's going on. This has a turning up over look at former employer, the GBB. As we know, the broadcasting has been through a lot of things. So how did we get here? Where did it all go wrong? How can we tell when our national media has become state propaganda? Our experts speak on positions of anonymity in the community. Here's disinformation and media expert Charles, who sees free broadcasters built up by journalists and torn down by journalists.
Want to take me for a ride? Well, this'll make a good story.
Of authority that was trusted and worthy of trust. Then what we ended up with is a really commercial model where whether you're talking about an app on a smart device or whether you're talking about a broadcaster, the most important thing was to keep you in that environment for the longest amount of time possible. And because that meant money in their pocket. And in order to do that, a couple of things happened. One was the use of manipulated techniques around behavioral economics, things that would just keep you scrolling, or keep you listening, or keep you looking for more information. The second is that kind of environment favors sensationalism. And so you got more sensational headlines and more sensational stories, and it didn't matter whether they were true or not. It just voice to come in and say, no, wait, we are the truth. So the ground for this environment really got created when we had suddenly authoritarian politicians everywhere, and anything that threatened them or they disagreed with, they would call it disinformation. That's disinformation, that's fake news, and again, we got in a situation where nobody really believed anything. And the trouble is if you were telling the truth, it's very hard to get your message to cut through all of the noise of all of the disinformation that's there. So like, you know, if you remember Out on the Edges, there was this story about when they would take a house by force, they would take any infants and they would crucify them. And that's a great, fantastic, viral story. And how do you counter that story? With the truth. The only way you can counter it is like that. It's sensational.
perhaps the key way in which governments have controlled and influenced their populace. Totalitarian countries have typically of course the media has always played a key role in the mechanisms of control. And I think what's happened is more concerning where in Britain we've had perhaps more diverse voices in the media, but now with the GBB, you're really only seeing one brand of news and therefore only getting one truth. So people end up with a very biased and controlled idea of the reality and the world that we're actually living in. There was, of course, but in a way there were some positive things that, like, not all information was coming from one place, and so you'd have kind of far-right media outlets developing and then left-wing media outlets about those and kind of challenge the mainstream newspapers, TV stations, radios, and make sure people were questioning the validity and truth of the information they were receiving. So whilst there was the digital affording more fake information, it also makes us suspicious and sceptical of information and makes us question the information we're getting. And I think in pre-crisis Britain it might not have seemed great at the time, but there was something positive about that there was a lot of distrust in the media and in the different kinds of truths that are being told. Whereas now I think you're seeing starting to a more traditional and older pre-digital sense, actually, people just trusting what they're told, and that's why we have to be here with radio stations like this to challenge those conceptions. Most citizens feel pretty hopeless, I think, and unable to fight back against these kind of huge mainstream corporations that simply entrench and support the ideals and ideologies of the state. It can seem very hopeless indeed, but I think, you know, the fact that you're out there listening, we're in here talking, shows that there is still a space to combat these false truths and disinformation that's being sold to us, and that it's never possible really to completely shut down, despite all the technologies that they have at their disposal and all the financial and corporate power and all the physical powers. It's never quite possible to shut down people's desire to get to the truth and fight for their own ideologies and values, and you know, we're out here starting that task, so don't give up.
You've been listening to Buccaneer with me, Tash. We'll be back soon with more of what you'll never hear from the GBB. Keep listening, keep sharing, and keep visiting.
Life expectancy in the UK continued its fall, reaching its lowest point in 20 years, according to an Office for National Statistics report. Join GBB for an analysis of this distressing trend.
The Bar. Objective voice of objection for a most objectionable world. Hello, Busters. Welcome to The Bug, the comedy show that holds up the Medusa of satire to the already immovably concrete face of modern truth. I'm Andy, I bench 480, and I can crack a tree in half just by looking at it. Can I? Well, of course, it's reality. Alice, what do you bench?
I bench body weights.
Right.
Well, not my body weight.
Okay.
Body weight of a baby.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to give that kind of detail. Just
Very impressive. People look at you and go, where did you get that baby?
Yeah. You are listening to The Bug.
In this week's Truth News, according to an official poll, 98% of Londoners are very happy with CTOS. And I am not sure that I agree with this, Andy. I don't think 98% of Londoners have ever, in the history of London, ever agreed on anything. You could not get 98% of Londoners to agree that oxygen was better than breathing a fog of raw liquid feces. And they expect us to believe that everyone agrees CTOS is better than not choking on shit list.
Maybe they just meant 98% of one specific Londoner who bought shares in Bloom before its tentacles grew into every crevice of the country. I mean, this is not just any old poll.
All right, find your tack in this vehicle.
Any poll. This is an official poll, right from the very heart of government. It's not a fake poll of a ugly couple and their mangy old dog sitting on a bench waiting to die. This is an official poll. So let's just put those words, official poll, through translation in case you didn't study languages. Let's find out what it actually means. Made up lie. There we go. Glad to clear that up. I don't think it's fair to say entirely trust these official polls they feed us, Alice. I mean, they could publish an official poll saying that Over 99.9% of children like ice cream, and I would instantly assume that all children now hate all ice cream and would prefer to eat a bucket of gravel mixed with dead badger. They could publish an official poll saying that 10 out of 10 cats prefer cat food to being whacked with a tennis racket, and I would assume that all cats have gone to it.
Oh shit! Oh no!
He's not here. Call off the search.
Your judgment is impaired, Sally. I'll make my own decisions.
I trust those polls as much as I would trust Mary Kelly if she came up to me and said, "Congratulations, Andy, you've just won a free holiday to the south of France in the back of this windowless van."
I think that's
I say again, all units, we have reports of a hostile in your area. Over. Received. Responding to the situation now.
Trying to match it to reality. These polls are absolute rubbish, Andy. I read one the other day that said the plumbing in London was...
Control. I've lost the target.
It's good, and it absolutely is not. I mean, we have this technology now where they can spy on my every bowel movement. There's a CCOS camera installed inside my underwear drawer. And many of them are scaring the birds off my garden bird feeder, and you can't get me consistently hot water.
Units, we have reports of a hostile in your area. Over.
Received.
The great thing I
We'll
guess
engage
about
if necessary.
is that as inanimate robots, they actually have more humanity, compassion, and dignity than the human journalists we used to have to put up with a much more accurately calibrated moral compass. But it's the intrusion I can't
No sign of
stand. I'm in
suspect.
showbiz.
Over.
Look at me here in this windowless dungeon. I'm in showbiz, and it's terrible for me with all these drones knowing I'm being filmed all the time.
Return to
every day.
HQ.
Make sure I
This
done
is
my
pointless.
hair and makeup and not wearing clothes I've never worn before. Well, we all have crosses to bear.
At this point, they've installed so many CTOS cameras, I'm not sure where they'll put the new ones. On top of the old ones, just cameras watching other cameras, like a social media influencer so self-absorbed they don't know how to sleep without
Everything has just become a camera filming another camera. To be honest, I'm giving up on all news and reality. I now just make up my own headlines these days. I get a piece of paper and a pen. Remember that? Paper and pens, those are the days. And I'll just write down the headlines I want to read. Now, I just make my own newspaper. Here I've got today. If you point at the bird shit on your car window and say it's a currency, no one can tell you otherwise. Screech Chancellor at Bilderberg karaoke night. That's right, another headline. Here we go. PM announces Britain back on track after swapping all Crown Estate properties for some magic beans. Might as well become something as the nation we are today. Here's another one. Wild joy on the streets as Britain signs £864 zillion trade deal with Bolivia. There we go. Build a better world. Government claims only nice people will benefit from agreement to sell travel into mobility warships to landlocked South American nation. We're building a better Britain. Here's another one. Environment probably fine, claims drowning scientist. Invent the world you want to have, people. It's going to be way, way better than the one you've actually got from the bug. Goodbye. The bug again. This is the bug.
Coming up in today's episode of The Upload, we're talking about how Bagley managed to conquer London. Pretty much my favourite topic. I could talk for hours about the rise of the AI system. It's easy to forget about its origins. It's so present everywhere we go now. Bagley just kind of blends into the background.
Bagley is the service AI that's present in every every optic device. Whether you're using the optic, Bagley will be there. The AI is streamed to your optic from Bloom's Central Command Center, and it was first created by Sky Larson, our tech hero, as part of her techno-utopian idea for the world. Why do you think it grew so quickly?
In my mind, it's no surprise that Bagley became so popular. It's funny, useful, fast. It's a great companion and really just makes life so much easier. I mean, when you look back at all the service AIs that used to exist, they just can't compete. When you ask Bagley anything, there's a quick answer and loads of information available to you. One day, I let Bagley answer all of my messages for a whole 24 hours, and newborn even
just couldn't
Urgent call.
Bagley. Their
Possible
answers were so
hostile
much
at
Well, it's really the data, isn't it? Ever since the looked at with you, that's when
they collect information about everywhere through your optic headset.
Control, bring forward all cars.
but I prefer not to talk about that side of things. Bagley's so special because that's how these AIs work. I mean, we don't really know that much about the latest version because there's so much secrecy. But they're giving us free training data. It's basically a database that's used to teach the AI about patterns in behavior. You know, so if you always travel the same way to your house, it can predict when you're going to go and get a self-driving car ready for you before you even ask for it.
This data is version of Bagley?
I've heard mutterings, yes.
I've heard it's been used by Dead Set.
I would have put it
Ready to run the mission. Over.
but the idea of a souped up
Stand by units. Report to my location.
Many may think an unlikely type of crime, namely non-violent crimes committed by people over the age of 75. Impoverished elderly are turning to crime in the hopes of gaining free room and board. Join GBB as we look into the last resort of elder care, prison.
Preparing to ram suspect's vehicle.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of The Upload. We're talking about the optic and how it has changed our lives. Now, as you remember, Bloom announced a new version of the optic at the recent Tone conference. But we haven't heard too much about that since due to the dramatic events there. Let's cast our minds back and consider the technology. I mean, the optic changed everything. It lets you see things in the eye, no longer need a smartphone. You just have a small implant that sends signals to your optic nerve and lets you see your emails, take calls, and browse the internet directly as if the screen is in front of you.
Driving into the vehicle, over.
Danger. Vehicle in critical condition. Please exit immediately.
So much lighter and so much more convenient. It's great.
Vicky, you sound like you absolutely love the optic. Do you actually think that it's made our lives any better?
I mean, sure, it's definitely made things a lot easier. It's so
Control,
simple to
we're pursuing the suspect.
All you have to do is choose who you want to chat to, and they're there, ready to talk. And browsing the web is so much easier. I remember when I used to have to sit down at a computer with an actual keyboard and mouse and type everything out. And my favourite feature is public
Danger.
transport. With
Vehicle
the
in
optic,
critical
you can
condition.
straight on
Please
the
exit
It
immediately.
acts as a passport. No longer do I have to dig around and try and find my old paper passport just to travel somewhere. Also, I thought the optics marketing strategy, making it free for people, was a stroke of genius.
Genius. Was really calculated when it was doing that. It was pushing this draconian device on us at all. Sure, everybody flocked to it. There was free Wi-Fi and phone plans. That definitely helped, but it wasn't a case of this is a product that you need in your life.
Danger. Vehicle in critical condition.
It's just the
Please
worst,
exit
because you have to give
immediately.
up your privacy expectations and accept surveillance. It was almost like the government in Bloom didn't even need to make the optic mandatory. Making it mandatory was only to get the last holdouts across the line. If free data didn't convince you, fines and arrests from the state for not having the optic would pretty much be enough.
Danger.
I mean, what do you mean by privacy problem?
Danger. Vehicle in critical condition. Please exit immediately.
What it really means. Here, you've got a whole company owning basically all the data about your life. Bloom can see everything you can see. Nothing is private anymore. There are so many times when I don't want anyone to have a clue about where I am, who I'm chatting with, what I'm doing. It's not even dodgy stuff, but I just don't want anybody to blackmail me with this in the future by hacking it. And because of Bloom's contracts with the government, it isn't just Bloom that can see everything I do. It's the government. The UK as a
All units, possible suspect or suspects reported near your location. Control, we are ready to engage. Shit! Officer down! Officer down! No sign of the target. Over.
No.
Control, I've identified an armed individual. Received. We are trailing the target.
I need backup at my current location.
Somebody help that officer. Over. We're on their tail. Over.
Suspect is nearby.
Moving to last known position.
Fuck! I'm on my own!
All units, we are after the suspect.
All units, proceed to alarm location. Control, I've lost sight of the target. Over.
Received. Returning to HQ. Over.
It has become a complete surveillance paradise.
I think you're painting a bit of a bleak picture. It's not all that bad.
No, you're completely wrong on this. I don't want everybody tracking me wherever I'm going around London.
Well, in that case, you might be interested in some rumours I heard. Did you hear that some DedSec hackers have found a way to bypass the optics connection with Blue?
Are they actually making it better or usable or actually friendly for anybody?
Well, word on the street is that they've been able to create an encrypted signal, which means that you'll have a chance of becoming a bit more private again, so you could go